Here we go. We're going to take a look at the Blizzard in-game cooldown manager. So there's a couple ways, a couple things you have to do in order to do this. First and foremost, you want to go into your options and you want to go to your search bar and type in Cooldown Manager, or just type in cool. It'll pop up here and you need to enable it with this check mark. It's also under gameplay enhancements on the left-hand side here. Gameplay enhancements, Cooldown Manager. So it's active. So we're going to hit edit mode now. We're going to have a look at what it has to offer. So Cooldown Manager, you can see the checkbox here. What functions do we have available to us? So we'll start with the essential cooldown. So we have orientation, horizontal and vertical. I think I'm going to go with horizontal. Number of columns. This is the number of icons displayed in a row across. So right now it's set to 12. If you wanted to make it double layered, you could make it double layered. Let's say we wanted to make it only 4, then it would be 4. Now, my number one issue that I have with the cooldown manager that I would love to see rectified is that it left justifies or right justifies all of the icons. And there's no option to center justify. That would be my number one piece of feedback. My first piece of feedback is that I'd like to be able to center justify these so that this bottom row is in the middle and not, if you look at it here, not offset like this, because this is not visually appealing. Icon size, so this determines the size of your icons, all the way down to 50, all the way up to 200. 200 is a bit much for me. Icon padding, this is the space between the icons. This is my second piece of feedback that I would give. So right now, the lowest icon padding you can set is 2, and then the maximum you can go up to 10 to space them out. So let's just save it. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is at 10. You can see the icons are really spaced out there. At 2, they're closer, but there's still quite a bit of gap between them. And to me, that just doesn't look visually appealing. I would much rather have them be a 1 or even a 0. I'd like to really have them right up next to each other. So that's something that potentially has the option to be fixed with an add-on, if we're allowed to edit the visual styling. I imagine there's probably a CVAR tied to this that we could adjust to make this 0 instead of 2. But let's continue. Opacity, how clear or how transparent they are or not. Obviously, I'm going to leave it at 100. And then visibility, always visible in combat or hidden. I like the idea that you can potentially make these be only in combat, so that when you're out in the world questing and stuff, your gameplay screen is very clean and free. So, but I'm going to leave it as always visible for now because I'm setting it up, and then we can change it later if we want. Show timer. This will put an actual timer in the icon to let you know when it's coming down. And then tooltips is a nice function. You can let you hover over your ability in case you're not sure what it does. I'm going to turn that off for now, but it is a nice feature that we can have available to us. So that's the basic settings. Now, there's lots of other features we can do here. So we can go to the advanced cooldown settings, which opens up this menu. And we have the option now to select what essential cooldowns we have. These are the ones on this bar. And what utility cooldowns we track. These are the ones on this bar at the bottom. And then what ones are not displayed. There's a couple of ways you can adjust this in here. You can click and just left click once and then move it. You can see the light highlighting between the icons where this will drop. Or you can click and drag, or you can right click and assign it to utility cooldowns or remove it from the bar. So very user friendly, a lot like add-ons like Tell Me When. This will make it really easy to set things up. And then last but not least, we're going to do the buffs. So to update your buffs, you tracked buffs, you hit the advanced cooldown manager, and then it's this little lightning bolt, buffs. Now here is where my biggest concern comes in. There's no way to track Ardent Defender as a buff. So if I use Ardent Defender, it tracks it here on the cooldown manager to tell me when it's off, when the debuff drop, when the buff drops off, but it's not tracking it in my tracked buffs. So there's no way for me to know. I think that could be a problem. Here's an issue with the tracked buffs. Consecrate's there, that's great. I get the timer. And then Guardian of Ancient Kings is there, but it doesn't put them together. You know what I mean? It doesn't grow out from the middle. It just, they're static in place. Where this is where this will always be. So the things on the either side of it are just gaps. I would like to see the option to have our tracked buffs dynamically grow based on a set point. So just like you have the icon direction left, right, I would like to see centered, and I'd like it to be dynamic if at all possible. I know it's possible with weak auras. I'd like to see it be possible here with the tracked buffs. This is cooldowns. This is stuff you have tracked on a bar. And I do want some things tracked on a bar. I think this is probably it. So yeah, the biggest concern here, and the number one item that I would like to have fixed and or maybe highlighted, is the ability. I would like more control over what buffs I can put in the tracked buffs window, and then a center growth as opposed to just a left and right growth for all of the icons. I think would also be really nice. If we can get that, I think we're a lot closer to the functionality we have now. And then it's just cosmetic, a question of cosmetics. It's pretty close right now where it is, as is. And it does have the option to add text, to add sounds, new alerts. You can do a sound alert, and then they have options, but this is all broken right now. None of this is working. So it should say text to speech. But let's do it for Ardent Defender. New alert, sound. I'd like text to speech, add alert. So this should play. I assume it's just going to say Ardent Defender when Ardent Defender is available. It says in chat playing alert text to speech, but it doesn't actually play it. Once that functionality comes in, I think that is a huge advantage as well. I'm really looking forward to that. And I'd like to see them add that to their combat manager so that I could have the combat manager say the names of spells also.